Hello, everyone. Welcome back to In the Yard podcast with your hosts, Collin Zavala and Braeden Cox. And we are here to give you a quick MLB update. Still early on in the season, still only April. But Braeden, I think similar to last episode, we're going to give you our overreactions, who's hot, who's not, which teams we think are pretenders, which teams can turn it around, who are doing so good. So we'll get right into that here and in the yard. And at the end, we're also going to be giving a John Sterling tribute. Braden and I being Yankees fans, so we're going to get to that at the end of the episode as well. But we're going to start with the MLB update first. Braden, I know, pretty early on in the season, like I said, so can't overreact with anything quite yet. But one thing that really stands out to me is the fact that the Houston Astros are dead last in the AL West. I think they're like 6-11 or something.
6-14.
6-14. So 8 games below 500. I know a lot of injuries on the pitching front there in Houston. I think Verlander's come back tomorrow as we record here on Thursday. But yeah, I think just a slow start for them. And, it's the Astros. You don't want to count them out just yet. But 8 games below 500, especially in that division, when you have the Rangers, the Mariners there as well. It's definitely not ideal for you there. So give me your reaction to that. I know the Astros can turn around. I think they will.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if they don't finish above 500 at least. But yeah, just give me your initial reaction to that.
Yeah, I mean, and we kind of talked about it already. Like the last MLB update we did, we kind of talked about the Astros and we're like, well, the Yankees swept them and they haven't played tremendous baseball, but we weren't worried about them. And it's only gotten worse since the last time we talked about them. But, like I said in that episode, I'm going to say it again here. If there's any team I trust as much as I hate them, it's the Houston Astros. They're going to be a playoff team. They're going to figure it out. It's just, and you call them the Kansas City Chiefs of baseball last episode, right? They're going to be there, right? When it matters. And they're the kind of team that like they can be the bottom seed and they can win this conference for sure. You know what I mean? It's like you can never count them out. All you have to do is get to the dance if you're the Houston Astros, which quite frankly, like, that division overall is playing like decent. Like they're the only like standout like bad team right now, I would say. Even the Oakland Athletics are like playing competitive ball as of late.
Yeah.
The Angels, probably a pretty big surprise. I mean, I know they're 9-10, still early in the season, but like a lot of people were like, this is a bottom 5 team, and they're not playing like a bottom 5 team, which is good for them, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I had them finishing last in the West. I saw a stat today. I saw a stat today that Mike Trout stole 5 bases from like 2021 to 2023 and already has 5 stolen bases this season. So
yeah. So he said he wanted to steal more bases. So what's he doing? He's stealing more bases. That is Mike Trout for you.
Yeah, I think Ron Washington has a lot to do with that. He's probably saying, Mike Trout, go out there, play your game. Because he's Mike Trout.
And I think the last time I checked, he was tied for the lead in home runs this season. So like, at the end of the day, man, like he's still at the top of his game. And we've talked about it on here before, but we're like, we low-key wish this man would just go to a contender and get a ring because he's a surefire Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
It just sucks that he plays, for a team that, if he finishes his career in Anaheim, which it sounds like he wants to do, I don't foresee him ever winning a championship there.
Yeah, they've been consistently bad for as long as he's been there. I think he's had one playoff appearance and they got knocked out the first round. So
it's tough. That's a team that I would like to see have some success this season, particularly because they did lose a superstar in Shohei Ohtani. If they can kind of rebound from that and not like look like a team that the majority thought that they would look like, that'd be awesome for them. But yeah, the Astros, it's, they're only 5 games out. So, all it takes is a little win streak and they're right back in it. I'm not concerned really about them yet. But yeah, I mean, I look at the run differential, -23, which is like pretty surprising for a team like the Astros, I would say. I know it's small sample size. We're only 20 games in, but yeah, I would say I'm not too worried yet, I would say.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think I agree with you there. And then hitting the topic on the Angels, I feel like there's like no one rooting against the Angels because Mike Trout's there. Like everyone wants to see him win, kind of. But yeah, to me, it's still going to be tough for them. I know they're off to a decent start, but it seems like they're off to a decent start every year, and then everything like once the break hits, it's downhill from there. So yeah, and then I also agree with you with your Astros point here. I did not counting them out by any means. They're only 5 games behind. I think once their pitching gets back in the groove, and then I mean Altuve's still playing like Altuve. He's been 388.
Yeah.
Last time I checked this morning. He's been 388, and then
Yeah, they're just not winning games.
yeah, they're winning games. But I think they're going to turn around to the Astros. But yeah,
And another note is like we know for a fact that they're better than the Angels. They're better than the Athletics, and they're better than Seattle. Even though I'm higher on Seattle, they're better than them, right?
Yeah.
So like, I don't know how many games they've played against, the division. I know they've played the Rangers a few times, but like, the Athletics, like law of averages, they're gonna fall off, right? Angels, I expect the same thing. They're gonna win games against those teams, and then it's only gonna, propel them forward. So
Yeah.
again, not too worried about the Astros.
Yeah, I agree.
What a
All right,
shakeup that would be, though, if they miss the playoffs.
Yeah, it would be
What a
crazy.
shakeup that would be.
That would be. I mean, I'll go keep checking back weekly, obviously,
Yeah,
with these
for sure.
episodes, but we'll keep close on it. I was gonna revert over to actually the AL Central, Brady. I think we have some surprise teams right
For
now in the
sure.
AL Central. The Guardians are tied for the best record in baseball with the Yankees, and the
Yeah.
Royals are right behind them. I think me and you are both
Yeah.
low on those two teams. We had the Twins winning the division, and I had Twins making a Cinderella run in the World Series or to the World Series. But they're sitting at 6-11. I've lost 3 of the last 10. I've lost 3. No, I've lost 7 of their last 10.
Yeah.
And they're 6 games out of the first place spot, so they're not off to a hot start. And I think, like I said, the Guardians and Royals are really just like really. I just can't
They're
tell with
clicking.
either of them yet. Like I can't tell if they're pretenders or contenders. I know I was listening to John Boy today. I listened to him on my commute to work, and he's still not bought in the Guardians. It's the second episode I listened to where he's just like, yeah, the Guardians are just not good when they're tied with the best record in baseball with the Yankees. So,
Yeah.
but I'm not saying they're not good, but I'm not saying they're real contenders yet.
Sure.
But the way they play ball, they don't hit a lot of home runs. It's kind of get on base, get a guy over,
Yeah.
and then get
A small ball.
good
For
at
sure.
yeah. But yeah, I can't tell if they're real or not. And then same thing with the Royals. I think that's the AL Central as a whole is just, and you have Bieber going down too for the Guardians.
Yeah.
But yeah, that division in general, I think is going to give them a real chance as to to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So yeah, just give me your thoughts on that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you for the most part. The thing is with this division is honestly, I can see 4 out of the 5 teams winning it. And we talked about this in our before the season started. We talked about this in our preview. Like we could see the Guardians winning the division. We could see the Twins winning the division. You had them going all the way to the World Series. And we even talked about a team like Detroit that like, okay, I think a team like Detroit could surprise people. I'm not going to pick them to make the playoffs, but like they could make a little bit more noise than what people think. And I think we had the Royals like a little bit behind them. Right. So realistically, like this isn't too far off of what we thought. We both thought that the White Sox were going to be horrible, and they are horrible. Right. I think this division is going to be a dogfight, right? Especially like I kind of get what John Boy's saying is because like they don't
You look at
really
the roster and they're
specialize
like,
in.
you look at the
They're not.
roster.
Yeah, they're like they've got. I'm
You got
blanking on
Steven
his name.
Kwan, Jose Ramirez, Naylor
Jose
Brothers.
Ramirez. Yeah, like
Um,
they've got like some names that but like
yeah,
there's no like Soto or Judge on this team.
no, yeah, but they play small ball,
So
kind of like
it
last year's Diamondbacks.
yeah. So I mean, I could see this team making the playoffs. The only problem is I think there's probably like 5 or 6 teams that are definitively better than them right now, even though they're tied for the best record in baseball just in their conference. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah,
think the Yankees are better. I think the Orioles are better. You could argue that Tampa Bay is better. Cleveland also, I don't know how many times they've played the Twins, but like I know they've beat up on the Twins a few times. I think the Twins is definitely an interesting story though because they've played about average on the road, but I don't know if they've won a game at home yet. Like they
I
might be
could
like
check
one
right
and
now.
6 or 1-5 at home. Like that was my takeaway is
Yeah,
why
they're
are they
1-4 at home. Haven't played a lot
one
of
and
home
four
games
and
though,
then
only 5.
yeah, and then yeah, that's true. I mean, they have played 12 road games, but I think that is definitely noteworthy. Is like, why are we 20 games into the season and they've only won one game at home? Yeah, I mean, those are
Yeah.
games that are supposed to be like, in your favor, and you're not really clicking offensively there. I see their run differential is -20. They've lost their last 4. They're just kind of a mess right now. I hate to compare them to the Astros in this case because I trust the Astros far more than the Twins, but I still feel like roster wise, the Twins are a top 2 team in this division, right? So yeah, a slow start, but like I would be shocked if they didn't finish in like first or second.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Fair
that's
enough.
my take.
So are you buying? We touched on the Guardians. We touched on the Twins. What about the Royals? 12-7, one game behind the Guardians for the best record in baseball.
I mean, I love the
I
hype. They
think
score a lot of
yeah,
runs.
they score a lot of runs. They're fun to watch. Bobby Witt
Yeah.
Jr. obviously, Salvador Perez is still balling out. He's like 32 now, I think. He's still
Yeah. They're
balling.
kind of like a year
Um,
early. Like I
yeah,
feel like that they
that's why
shouldn't
that's
be
exactly
12
what I
and
was gonna.
7.
That's exactly what I was gonna get to. I thought they were going to be good next year. I thought this was
Yeah.
one more in between last year because last year they were like bad, but you saw they were young, they were
They have
had
potential.
talent.
Yeah.
They took would take a couple seasons, but they looks like they're a year early as of right now. And instead of being in that middle ground between last year and next year, they kind of just made the jump right to this year. So
Yeah.
yeah, but they're a fun team to watch. If I had to choose which team I want to win the division, it'd probably be the Royals. I just think they're a
Oh
fun
yeah.
team.
100%.
Um, um,
100%. I agree with that.
but yeah, we'll see. Like I said, still super early in the season. We'll have to see how it goes. Um,
Yeah. I mean,
but yeah,
Salvador Perez is hitting 324.
yeah. So
That's like, that's noteworthy for sure. I see Hunter Renfroe is still kicking. Adam Frazier's on the Royals. Yeah. I mean, like,
and they got Joey Meneses too, I think, or MJ
yeah.
Melendez. Check the
Yeah.
depth chart.
Yeah, MJ Melendez. Yeah, I see him there. But yeah, I mean, I think this is definitely a fun team to watch. Um, there's definitely something here, right? Like, even if they don't make the playoffs this year, I don't think that makes it a failure of a season, considering they were like a bottom 2 team in baseball last year. Um,
Yeah,
the law of averages might catch up to them. I know I talk about that a lot here, but do you expect them to finish, what are they at right now? They're 12-7. So they're like, you know, they're basically winning 3 out of every 5 games, a little bit better than that. Do you expect that to continue? Probably not,
yeah.
but
Just
we'll
their
see.
pitching is what concerns me. They score a
Yeah.
lot of runs, but they don't have any standout ace pitchers right now, in
Yeah.
my
And they play
opinion.
well at home, 8-2 at
Um,
home.
so
Fantastic.
yeah, cool.
So yeah. So I think the AL Central is going to be a dogfight. I think there's, definitely some surprises there, but I definitely wouldn't count out the Twins this early in the season yet. I still think they're probably the best roster, right? But when you play in a division that's so like even, I guess you could say, that may like not matter as much. So
Yeah, that's a good point. And then I kind of wanted to get into
yeah,
one more uh note here. Mets
yeah,
started off terribly, right? I think they started off like 2-8 or something. Um,
something like that. Yeah, and they've
not
kind of
two and
turned
eight,
it
like
on.
2-6. They start off really slow, but now they're 10-8 and only two and a
Yeah,
half games behind the Braves. Is that shocking to you at
yeah.
all?
Uh, well, I don't remember exactly what
On a 4-game win
my
streak,
final
8-2 the
standings in
last
that
10.
division were. I don't remember exactly what my final standings in that division
I
were,
think you
but
had I think you
I know I
had the
had
exact
Braves,
way it's
Phils, and then
sitting right now.
Marlins. I think I had Braves, Phils, Marlins, Mets. So I mean, the Marlins have really taken a turn for the worse, it appears, at sitting at 4-15.
Yeah, they do not look good.
I'm not really
I think the
surprised,
Marlins are done.
right? But I would be very surprised if they got ahead of if they finished or even like by the All-Star break, if they were ahead of like the Braves or the Phillies. I think that would be very surprising to a lot of people because this is a team that, last year there were huge expectations for because they went there and they got Verlander, you know, they kind of went all in, and then they realized that it was not going to work, so they blew it up. And then
Yeah.
you were like, well, that team is going to be bad for a while. So, again, would I pick them to make the playoffs today? No. Am I surprised so far? A little bit, but not like
Yeah. They're doing
tremendously.
better
But
than
they're
I
still
thought.
sitting at third.
They're doing better than I
Yeah,
thought they
for
would
sure. For sure. And I
so
mean, I
far.
don't know exactly who they've played. But I know I think they swept the Pirates. Like they swept the Pirates against Kansas City. They took, what is it? 2 out of 3 against Atlanta, 2 out of 3 against Cincinnati. Like those are good teams. It's not like that they're like playing the Marlins twice or something like that. Not to take anything away from the Marlins, but like Pirates, Royals hot start, Atlanta hot start, and Cincinnati's a decent team. So it's not like, they're beating like legit teams, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Fair enough. We'll see how
So
the Mets. We'll see how the Yankees' little brother does farther into the season.
they got a
We'll
tough
see how
little
that
road
goes.
trip coming up though. They got the Dodgers 3 games this weekend, and then they got San Francisco next week. So if they come out of that mostly unscathed, yeah, but I could totally see them going like losing 5 out of 6 there. So we'll see.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, I know we didn't touch up on everything, but is there anything else you wanted to note before we get into the John Sterling tribute?
Yeah, I mean, nothing insane. We talked about the AL a little bit. I mean, the East is a dogfight, but we expected that the Yankees lead it, but only by half a game, even though they only, they're sitting at 13-6. Baltimore's right there. I don't think we're really surprised by that. Maybe the fact that Boston's probably a little bit better than we expected. They started the season really well. They're like 3-7 in their last 10, so not great, but you know, that's pretty much all I got there. And, for the most part, I mean, the NL Central is interesting, right? Because, as we predicted, the Cardinals are sitting at last, right?
Mm-hmm.
All the
I mean, I
sports
don't
books
think
are
I had
very
them
high on the
last,
Cardinals.
but we definitely knew. I think all the odds and the sport books and Fangraphs
They
all had
loved
them
them. They
finishing
favored them. They
first.
were like the 5th best odds to
Yeah,
go to the
it's
World
still early
Series in the
though. It's still
NL.
early. They have a lot of injuries,
True,
but we'll see how it goes.
true, true. So, and the Pirates have like kind of cooled off. So, again, law of averages. Cubbies are playing well though. But besides that, the NL West, NL East is about like where I expect it to be.
Yeah. Just see, I think it's Michael Bush. He had a home run in 5 straight games for the Cubs.
Really?
Yeah, Michael Bush. Remember the name?
Wow.
I'm not sure if he's exactly a rookie. He might be,
Must have gone
but
a year early. Or a
yeah,
year late. Early.
yeah, a year late for me.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if I looked at this roster last year, I would have been like, yeah, no way. But
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now and I'm like, what am I looking at here?
yeah, all right. So
Michael Baseman. Fair enough.
remember the name. Then Tyler O'Neill was off to a
Tyler
super
O'Neill.
hot start with the Red Sox, and then
Yes,
he
very
went
hot
down the
stuff.
other day, collision with Ralphie. Did you see
Yeah.
that?
I did not.
It was like a fly ball between O'Neill was playing left, and then Ralphie was playing third. Ralphie was going back on it, and then they bumped heads,
They just ran
and
into
then
concussion.
O'Neill went to concussion protocol. Yeah,
Mm.
he did like 8 stitches or something.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's pretty nasty. I don't know. Actually haven't checked in on Devers. I think he was like okay. Like, I think he was able to stay in the game,
But
but yeah, the Red
A
Sox were
little bit
already
better of a start than we probably expected, but
yeah. Red
injuries
Sox were
happen.
already injured a lot, and then that
Yeah, well, it's
happened.
Trevor
So
Story too. I mean, he's done for
yeah,
the year. He had
yeah,
something like
yeah.
shoulder or something.
Sucks. Even though there are rivals, you just don't want to see that.
Yeah, you don't want to see players
Yeah.
get hurt.
All right.
Cool.
So yeah, let's get into for the last 5 minutes. We'll get into a little John Sterling tribute. I'm sure as many of you have heard, longtime Yankees radio broadcaster John Sterling has announced his retirement effective immediately. And then Saturday at the stadium, they're doing a little ceremony to say goodbye.
Can't imagine the scenes.
Yeah.
That's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I'll probably be tuning in. I think the game's at 1 probably that day, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So Braeden and I are just going to touch up on what Sterling means to the Yankees, what he meant to us, and give some of our favorite calls of his that we've had. So yeah, Braeden, when I think of John Sterling on the radio, I just think of like kind of my childhood. It's who we've been listening
Our whole
to when we
life.
listen to radio. I think he's been in the broadcast you know, field for like 50 years, and he's been with the Yankees for 36, I think, something like
Yeah,
that.
something like that.
So yeah, he's been
He
the
called the
announcer
World
for the
Series in the
Yankees.
'90s, so
Yeah, he's been there longer, almost twice as long as Brady and I have been alive. He's been
yeah,
broadcasting, so he was kind of like the voice of, whenever we turn on the radio, if we weren't watching on TV, he'd be the one we'd hear. But yeah, so we announced the retirement. I was pretty upset at first, but at the end of the day, he's 85 years old. I think he was getting tired and kind of took its course. Just the grind of being a broadcaster every day, especially for the past 36 years. So, um, just wanted to thank John Sterling there for everything he's done. And yeah, Brandon, do you have anything to add to there?
yeah. I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's one of those voices that every Yankee fan knows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Regardless of how you tune in. Um, you know, it's and I think the big thing to note is he, even if you weren't a Yankees fan, you kind of knew who he was because you knew the voice, you knew the home run calls, because every single one was, for the most part, spectacular and creative. And he's doing them on the spot. I think the ones for like Judge and Soto, he's kind of going through his head, but like, you know, I know he didn't call like a John Birdie home run, but if John Birdie hits a home run, like he's kind of probably got to think of that like on the
He has a thing for
spot. You know what
everything.
I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So it's very impressive, and it takes a lot to do something like that professionally and be like the best at it. And yeah, I'm biased because I'm a Yankees fan, but like really, I haven't heard anyone else in the league, any like broadcaster, call home runs like John Sterling, right? Because it's
Mm-hmm.
just creative and it's kind of wacky, but like it's awesome and it's been
Yeah.
our entire life. You know
Right.
what I mean? So like again, like you hit the nail on the head. We appreciate Sterling more than anything, uh, because for the most part, we've heard his voice for 20 something seasons at this point,
Mm-hmm.
and we're so used to it. So it's definitely going to be a little bit weird
Yeah.
not hearing it, or not like, because even if you weren't a fan, like I said, like some of his home run calls would go viral. Like the It's Glaber Day one was viral. Like even if you weren't a Yankees fan, people across the league heard that.
Yeah.
So,
For sure.
kudos to him for, an incredible career
Yeah.
there. Um,
And I texted
he
you
was
when like he
God.
first announced that, like, yeah, our childhood is like officially over now.
Yeah.
Because
I thought it
that
was
was kind of
fake.
our voice. It's kind of our voice of our childhood. He, up until a couple of years ago, he never missed a game. I think like in like
Yeah.
2021, he kind of had to start taking days off here and there
Well,
because he's
COVID, I think,
82
yeah,
years old.
COVID. But he's like
Yeah,
86 or something now.
yeah, he's
He's like,
85
yeah,
now.
I mean,
And Brady, he's actually called every single Derek Jeter at bat.
yeah,
So that's just, I
I
think that
did
just
see
tells
those,
you all about
which
him, who
is
he is,
just
how
insane to
how
think about.
professional he is. Yeah. So
And for how long Jeter played, and Jeter played in a
yeah,
lot of playoff
exactly.
games. We're talking 160, regular season games plus all those playoff games.
All
Very,
right.
very incredible stuff.
Exactly.
I wish him the best in retirement. I'm sure like he's not going to be calling games, but I'm sure you'll see him around. Like I'm
Yeah, I
sure
hope
you're going
so.
to get
I
a
hope so.
couple. I'm sure you're going to get a couple broadcasts, and then suddenly that voice is going to come in. You know what I mean? Just because you know the love of the game. He might retire from broadcasting, but he's not retiring from being a fan of the Yankees. So
Yeah, definitely. All right. And then I think that's obviously going to lead us into our favorite home run calls from John Sterling. Obviously, probably going to be of the Yankees, I would assume, um, for your brain. I don't know if you want to give one, two, three. I have a couple in mind. But
yeah,
you give
I
me your
mean,
first
of
one.
current Yankees, I honestly had to pull up a list because I just wanted to have them fresh in my mind. I'll give you a couple current ones that I think are great. I mean, obviously Judges is great. Nobody beats the Riz is great. You know what I mean? Just because it's like, if you're a Yankee fan, like you can't really hate Rizzo. It's a great call. Um, like I mentioned, it's Glaber Day is great. And I like what he did with Verdugo. He called him Alexander the Great. You know what I mean? That it's little things. Like you don't really
Yeah.
like it's small, but it's like you hear that
Yeah.
and
And
you're like,
I know
that's
non
awesome.
Yankees fans thinks it's like tacky and annoying, but like
Don't
as
no,
Yankees fan, it's
don't
first of all, it's
care.
not. First of all, it's not. Second of all, like as a Yankees fan, just makes us appreciate it even more. Um, so yeah.
Oh, here's a fun one for you. Jay Bruce. The Bruce is loose.
how
Like stuff
many
like
how
that
many
is
home
like
runs did Jay Bruce hit for the Yankees? Probably like
Jay
one.
Bruce. How many home runs did he hit with the Yankees in 2021? It's like
Probably like
the fact that he
one.
has a
It was
call and
probably in
it's like
spring training.
funny. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, yeah, I think that there's no bad ones here. There's none that I'm like, this is
Yeah.
like, that's Josh by gosh, Josh Donaldson. So the two home
Yeah.
runs Josh Donaldson hit for the Yanks. So
Yeah. My my favorite one was I'm going a little throwback here. I'd probably go, Alex Rodriguez. It's an A bomb from A Rod.
okay, A bomb, yeah,
That was just classic. Um, Hideki Matsui. It's a thriller for Godzilla. That one's also just a classic to me. And then another last throwback. For some reason I think is more nostalgic to me. That's why I'm kind of leaning like toward like the older ones. But I'm
yeah.
going Robinson Cano, Robbie Cano. Don't you
Ooh,
know?
yep,
That one's
that's
classic
great.
too.
Yep,
So
yeah.
those probably my
Just like
top three. If I had to choose, those are kind of like
yeah,
the Yankees in their
you've
prime.
got three iconic ones there
Yeah.
too. So that just goes to show you no current players you mentioned. So
Yeah. If I had to choose, if I had to pick a current player, um, I like Labor Day, and then not only does it go, it's Glaber Day goes like a good Glaber. Torres is there,
there
so
you go. Yeah. Another, just to spit off a few, Brett Gardner, Gardy goes Yardy, or it's a Gardy party.
he had a lot. Brett had he also had Brett Gardner plants one to right field,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he had a couple good mix there.
Which is like
Lots
really
of work with
creative.
Gardy.
Like you wouldn't think of that on the spot. Like
Yeah,
that's tough to think on the spot. Mike Ford in 2019. There's a Ford in their future. Mike is Ford tough. He's a clown, man. Oh man. So and then Didi had a good one too. Um, this is the dawning of the age of Gregorius. So, I mean, there's no bad ones here. We could just go on and on about, John Sterling and his calls. So again, we're very blessed as Yankee fans to be able to have moments like this because I'm sure there's people who, might hate the Yankees, but kind of loathe them for having, you know, when their broadcaster of like so many years retires, it's like the whole like fan base is like in shambles. Like you don't really
yeah.
see that anywhere
No,
else. You know what I
yeah, it's a
mean?
good
So
point.
that's
It's a
very
great
unique.
point.
And that just goes to show that, Sterling was that guy, I guess is the
Yeah,
best way to put it.
yeah. And then I also need to mention Gary Sanchez. That Gary is scary. That one's just another classic. So obviously, it's hard for me to pick which one's my favorite, but those are probably my top five, in no particular order there. So, all
Yeah. All good ones. There's no bad one.
right, cool. I think that about wraps it up here. Then, thank you, John
Yeah.
Sterling.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right.
Congrats on your retirement.
Yes, congratulations. Thank you everyone for listening. Like, comment, subscribe. We're almost at 500 subscribers on YouTube. So if you
Ooh.
guys want to help that, you can always hit the subscribe button.
500 homers for 500
We'll see.
subscribers.
We'll have to see. We'll have to
I'll
see.
have to pull up for that one. We'll have to
Yeah,
split time on that one.
250, 250 each, or we wait till 1,000 and do 500 each.
I'm down for both. Let's do it.
All right. Thank you everyone for listening. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.